So coming up next, where does Oklahoma need to go? We'll discuss here on Locked On Sooners.
You are Locked On Sooners, your daily podcast on the Oklahoma Sooners. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Once again, thanks for making Locked On Sooners your first listen every single day. Shout out to all the everydayers out there tuning in and subscribe to the show wherever you get your podcasts. We're part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And if you want more of Locked On with less ads, go to lockedonpodcast.com/everydayer. Sign up for the Everydayer Club. You can go to lockedonsooners.com/supercast, and you can get ad-free access of Locked On Sooners on all of your favorite podcast platforms, Apple, Spotify, wherever you download and listen to podcasts. You can also get access to a members-only Discord that allows you to discuss ball with Jay and I and members of the Everydayer Club across the world and other hosts across the Locked On Network as well. So go to lockedonpodcast.com/everydayer or lockedonsooners.com/supercast for $5 a month or $50 a year to sign up for the Everydayer Club. All right, Jay.
You come hang out with us in the court, man. We in there talking, and a lot of people, whenever stuff drops, they see it right there before it hops, anywhere else. So join us.
Yeah. And a lot of good football discussion, a lot of good portal discussion, recruiting, fantasy football stuff, NFL, wherever you like to talk ball, it's all right in there. And if you want it, no troll, actual sports talk, legitimate, it's in there. I've been in there. I've been active in a whole bunch of channels, Jay, and it's legitimate sports talk. It's the stuff that you'd be talking with your friends without all the trolls that you see on social media trying to disrupt the actual conversation. It's pretty
John
good time.
Be trolling Texas fans. Just going to let y'all know that.
I did troll Bama fans for a minute, and they did not like it. So I was like, okay, I guess I won't do that. So anyway,
yeah, that makes sense.
It was all in good fun. Anyway. Jay, the Oklahoma Sooners have done some great work in the portal. I think we're both really pleased with how they've put together this portal class, but where should they turn next?
Yeah, there's a few spots they're probably going to have to go. Like we talked about in the last segment, they're probably going to need another linebacker just to have some additional youth. Mm-hmm. Even though you brought in 3, you may want just one more with a little bit more experience just in case. You never know. But this may be the Nesta and Marcus James show. They may be ready to go. Like I said, Taylor Heim, he's right there too. Maybe ready. But I do think another Cheetah is probably one that you want to grab just to have another big, like I said, big freakish type corner to go out there. But besides that, this roster looks good. So, John, I wanted you to check it out. I'm going to pull the roster up here so everybody can kind of see. I put this together. Light pink is highlight our players that are transferring in and kind of where I think they're going to fit. They may fit in other spots. Your green are your current players, your freshmen that are incoming to the roster. And then, of course, white background standard are the players that are actually on the roster. So if you're looking on your phone, you may need to look on a computer just to see it better. But, John, when I'm looking through this, what jumped out to you about the way this roster has been constructed?
It's guys that they recruited. It's guys that they've retained. It's dudes they've developed. That makes up a huge majority of their roster. And, we had key players on the defensive side of the ball that were transfer portal additions. On the offensive side of the ball, obviously, the John Mateers, the Isaiah Satanias, Derek Simmons, Fabechi Wiwu, all those guys were key transfer portal players, but it's the year-to-year retention that stands out the most. It's, hey, the majority of our roster is back, and we've supplemented it. We've improved it.
Yeah, exactly. And see, what fascinates me about this when I look at it is, one, you don't have a bunch of transfers. You've got, of course, your wide receiver room right now is transfers because most of the receivers also left. You've got 2 transfer linemen that are probably potentially start, and then you've got your quarterback. And of course, your entire tight end room is all transfers, except for Trinae Washington. But it's funny, like on the defensive side, it's Cole Sullivan, and that's it when it comes to transfer. So when people be asking about, okay, what is this? What is Oklahoma why didn't they get a whole bunch of transfers there? They didn't feel like they needed it. They didn't feel like they needed a bunch of transfers, especially on defense. They got all the players they want on the roster.
Yeah.
They're happy with their recruits. And these players have been in the system for so long, but kept coming back. I don't expect Owen Heineke back, so we may as well just, just act like he doesn't exist anymore. No. Right, lacrosse just did him dirty, unfortunately. But he should have found himself being a football player before going through all that lacrosse game. But outside of that, it's funny. You really only got like 4 on the offensive side that you're really going to be playing. That's new transfers, and really one on the defensive side that could potentially start. I think Bishop Thomas is probably going to rotate, possibly, but you never know. I mean, Trent Wilson may end up being at that spot. He may be ready and go and play. Kenny Ozuwalu, I think, is going to be a freakish contributor over time. But again, defensively, they love their recruits. Offensively, they just got to get to that point. They got to get to the point similar to the way Indiana's built. They're built on all these kids that Cignetti and the staff, who's been together for like 6 years at minimum, they're built based upon their image. And so I think we'll see something similar. We should have Arbuckle for at least 2 more years, if not 3. Even if he blows it out the water, I'm not sure if there's a job that will be able to snatch him up. We'll see. But I do feel like once he really gets settled, you'll see great improvements on the offensive side. It's tough when you walk in and you're trying to acclimate yourself with everybody else. But once you kind of get that down after about a year, it usually takes about a year, the fruits usually start to show. Similar, like I said, to Vanderbilt.
It's a continuity thing. Oklahoma's had great continuity on defense with their staff. Brent Venables, Miguel Chavis, Todd Bates, Jay Valai, and Brandon Hall have all been here for 4, now going on 5 years. This is their 5th offseason with this program. And you've had good continuity with your offensive assistants, although you had a wide receiver coach change from Cale Gundy to LD Washington to Emmett Jones. Sorry, I blanked on his name. I was going to say EJ, but I wanted to really say his name. And now you've had some tight end coaching change, which we think is going to be for the better. But you had offensive coordinator change. You went from Jeff Lebby for 2 years to Seth Luttrell, Joe John Finley and Kevin Johns for a year. And now you're in the Ben Arbuckle era of Oklahoma football. And so it's just going to take time to build that continuity on the offensive side with the offensive vision being set by the coordinator. So I think eventually it'll catch up to that. You see in that 2-3 deep that eventually like those guys are going to start gaining those opportunities and earning those spots, but you've needed to supplement it with playmakers until those guys are able to take the field. I think we both believe that Elijah Thomas is going to be a player. It's just a matter of time. We think Emmanuel Choice has a chance to be a big-time player. The guys they brought in the 2026 class have a chance to be really good players. They just need time to develop, and that's okay. But the defensive side, I mean, you're looking at it, it's like Cole Sullivan is the only legitimate transfer. I mean, the offensive side, even though you have 4 guys that are incoming this year, you still have several guys that transferred in last year, or at least was it 2 guys that transferred in last year, and John Mateer and Isaiah Satania that are still part of this thing. So still very transfer heavy over the last couple of cycles under Ben Arbuckle, but eventually that'll give way to the guys that they recruited taking over with the Bo Bentleys and the Jaden Petit and the Daniel Odoms, Jazir Rogers. Like those guys are going to be playmakers on this team. It's just going to take a year or 2. But the defensive side, I mean, that's the vision. What you're seeing on the defensive depth chart, that's what they want.
They want to be able to do that, like I said, replicate it on offense, and that's the goal. And that's where Nagy comes into play and the evaluations and making sure that we're getting top-tier talent. Look at the 2027 class. That class is they're going out, they're swinging at the fences for players that they like. Look, we expect you to play within your first 2 years.
Yep.
Jake Krill, I expect him on the field this year.
Yeah.
He may play as a freshman a lot. Usually your higher rate players, Jonathan Haddon, I think they expect him to play. Bo Bentley's the only one they don't expect to play this year because you only play one quarterback and you play the quarterback that knows the system. But Bo's going to be expected to play within the next couple of years. So they're going to spend on players. They're only going to spend on players that are going to play. But they also don't want to go alienate their recruits, which is the one thing I appreciate the most.
Yeah, being able to go and get Trell Harris and Parker Livingston, it kind of forced a lot of those 2024 wide receiver recruits out, but you were able to maintain your 2025 guys.
Exactly.
And
that's what's important.
They did a really nice job of kind of balancing that. You know what I mean? And you brought in 3 tight ends and you've held on to Trine Washington, who I think has got the athletic skill set to be an incredibly dynamic player once he's able to find his way onto the field. You know, there's a lot of potential there. And you didn't lose your Michael Fasusis and Ryan Fojays or David Stones, like your cornerstone pieces of 2026 and 2027. Those guys are still retained on the roster as well. So
they're posting like crazy about run it back. You see all
run
those
it back
graphics, baby. So the cost of retention is just as expensive as the portal. Just keep that in mind too.
And also it's like, hey, the devil, you know, right? Like you'd rather pay your own guys than pay for somebody else's guys because you know what you're going to get with your guys. You don't always know what you're going to get with somebody else's guy, a la Jade Knott. So, all right. Hey, the national championship game coming Monday night. Who's going to take it? Miami, Indiana. We'll discuss coming up here on Locked On Sooners.